This will be that live stream, guys. Pay attention to what's happening now. Market's down. Spirit's down. Please, just listen and watch this live stream, guys. It's going to be deep. It's going to be deep because we see some bullish indicators happening right now.
Y'all ready for this live stream? Because I don't know about you all, but I'm a little hyped up today.
I got the coffee. We got the vision. I think we have the trend, man. Things happening right now. Pay attention to the market. Pay attention to what's going on. Don't let them shake you out of your bags. FUD, manipulation, doubt. Everyone's freaking out right now, but it's okay. Take a deep breath. And that's what these live streams are for. And like the video. And I sing in every live stream if you didn't know. So definitely subscribe to the channel. Please do not buy coins off of the title of our videos. Please actually watch the content and learn. That is the value of our channel. Do not buy Stellar Lumens because I put it in the title. Thank you very much. I need one huge push towards liking this video. Let's get it to as many people as possible. The more you guys interact with this video, the more people get notified, the more people's lives we change with cryptocurrency. So do me a huge favor and just like the video, leave a comment. I'm answering comments and I feel confident when like the main angle is not on me. So I'll probably talk a little bit of shit too at the same time. Do me a favor, like the video. All right, we need some more energy. I know everybody's down. Market's down a little bit, but I'm going to give you some hope, and it's not hopium, okay? Backing it up with data, you'll see why I make my moves. I could teach you guys how to buy the dip without putting more liquidity in the market. Most people are not saying these things because they have unlimited liquidity and they get paid by projects to buy the dip. So just understand, you know, I get where you guys are coming from. Let's have some more energy. Do me a favor, like the video, share it with somebody. Let's tag some friends in here. Let's get as many people as possible. Before we actually launch the video, we're starting in exactly 2 minutes. Hey guys, about to start the live stream. I'm used to saying podcasts. I say it all the time. We have a podcast every Thursday, but yeah, We are starting now. How's everybody doing today? I hope you're having a beautiful Thursday. I mean, from every other perspective except the financial markets, because right now pretty much everything's down. So, we're going to talk about the hearing yesterday and what went on there. Our thoughts on what's going on, because it looks like a bullish indicator. The markets are not reflecting that short term. But long term, we could definitely have a positive situation for crypto. And I'm doing this with my actual purchase decisions. I'm doing this with my credibility. I'm basically saying, I'm going on a limb here by saying that there's a lot of gains to be made in the cryptocurrency market. Don't get sideswiped. Don't let price manipulate you guys, because at the end of the day, you should be in this for the long run. So we're going to be doing the live stream here. I'll go over why I think, there's so much money to be made very briefly. Then Armando's going to take over, talk about, his viewpoints on XLM. I'll also be going over, of course, the XLM price, and I'll show you guys some truths. We keep it as honest as possible on this channel. I don't try to gas things up. Although I like XLM's energy, we got to look at the price a little bit so we can see what's really going on there. But yeah, how you guys doing today? Leave a comment in the chat. Like the video. Let's engage. Hopefully everybody's like holding on a little bit. Hopefully you don't have too much of your net worth in cryptocurrency and you're not feeling the effects as much, because people do make the mistake of going all in and leveraging their house to buy cryptocurrency. Hopefully that's not you. Hopefully you have a strategy that you've been utilizing to make sure that you hedge against risk and understand the variables of this market. If you're new to this market, I highly suggest you kind of zoom out a little bit, look at the longer term, broader cycle, and look at where the money's going. And I have a clear indicator right now. Like, I have a clear indicator, and I've been seeing it for the past couple videos. Actually, let me just spoil it for you guys. I have a top 10 altcoin video dropping tonight. I've only made 1 or 2 top 10 altcoin videos in the history of my YouTube channel. So this is a massive event. That's for me and my decision-making process for the market. So pay attention to that video. It's like an hour long. I'm getting back into my bag. I started watching my old YouTube videos and how serious I took research. So I kind of cut off everything that's happening in my business, and I'm diving deep in these videos, guys. I'm getting back to the original Alex OG. You'll see how crazy it is, but it's about an hour-long video. It talks about, a whole bunch of crypto. We'll have timestamps, I promise, so you'll be able to see the exact altcoins. But it's not about the altcoins. It's about, the process of being able to call altcoin season, which I do think is going to happen. So if you guys could do me a favor for kind of putting my credibility on the line, in Fundamental Secrets, I have my whole portfolio that they can see my exact trades. So my whole financial decision, I guess you could say, universe is out there for anyone to see. If you could appreciate that, and the fact that I'm trying to be as transparent as I possibly can in every way, shape, or form, just like the blockchain, in communicating it to you too as well, because people say truths, but then nobody knows what the truth is. Like, they don't know what it means. I try to educate you guys so you actually understand the truth. If you could do me a favor, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'll wait. We'll just wait. When you're done subscribing, we'll start the video.
Oh, man.
I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that to him. But yeah, we got the coffee. Hopefully everybody's doing good. Let's see some comments really quickly. I'm going to answer some questions, and then I'm going to dive into some charts, and then Armando will take over from there. So I'm going to be on this for a while. We have 171 viewers, only 75 likes. Can you guys do me a favor? Get that up to at least 100. Let's get to as many people as possible. All right. Let's see what you guys are saying over here. Al's going to make everything okay. I'm not going to make it. I'm going to make you feel better. I'm going to show you my strategy and how it's going to play out. I'm going to give you data, right? But it's not really me. It's just the information I'm providing, right? And you could do that for yourself. I don't need to make it okay for you. Like, you could just do your due diligence and make it okay for yourself. I think that's the ultimate answer right there. But I can help you and make you feel warm and fuzzy inside. That's what the YouTube videos are for, right? Make a video on a low to mid cap. Okay, so altcoin video dropping tonight is going to be from like a top really safe high market cap coin, and then the last ones are super high risk below $50 million market cap. Ooh. So pay attention to that.
That sounds juicy.
Yeah, it's happening tonight. They were supposed to drop it this morning, but there were some issues with the edit, so they're fixing it now, and they should be dropping it tonight. So pay attention to that. Bitcoin target 100K. People are saying Bitcoin's dropping to 18.5. I mean, like, bro, like, you could keep looking at the data all you want, but this is like the most bullish dump I have ever seen in my life. So Sentiment and everything else is pointing bullish. On-chain metrics all pointing bullish. The only thing that's pointing bearish right now is like basically price, like
just price action.
Yeah, price. It's, you know. Mitch said, Matt and Will and FS make you feel warm and fuzzy inside. I agree. When the dump happened, the first thing I did is click open the FS Discord, and I joined the live stream, and I'm like, wow, I feel much better now. Like, yeah, it's great having a community and coaches that are experienced at this to kind of burden that load, right? Like, you know, really tell you what the answer is, thinking, you know, objectively, and it helps. It helps people a lot.
Yeah, I definitely mentioned that on the last live stream too, right? You know, having that sense of security, people who have been through it before. You know, Matt will have experience just beyond crypto and years. So having that kind of knowledge behind you, I really feel makes you feel all warm and fuzzy on the inside.
Mm-hmm. But don't get too emotional, okay? We got to think logically. All right, so I'm going to jump into the screen share here. Let me stop BSing you. Go ahead, Eddie. Pop open. All right, here we go. So a couple of things I want to show you. I want to pull this up first, and it's going to be in my video, so I'll give you a little sneak preview. But we have the U.S. dollar currency index, and we have like this kind of like bounce off the, I guess you could say, trend line. Asymmetrical triangle, so this looks, it's supposed to be a continuation pattern of what's happening here, but basically what I'm saying is it should continue to go higher, and the reason why I'm pulling this up is because it's showing the strength of the US dollar, and I think that's important because it's the world reserve currency. Everything's valued in the US dollar. It pretty much starts a lot of markets, right? Of how people act in markets is the dollar strength. Now, we know inflation is double digit in all other places of planet Earth. I've been talking about inflation for a while, so you would expect this to go down. But actually, being that it's the world reserve currency, the double-digit inflation in other countries, you know, they're fleeting to the United States dollar. So this is what brings the value up. All the other countries, this is like the last domino. If we have an inflation endgame, okay, the last domino would be the world reserve currency. Okay, so this is actually showing signs of strength, which also shows signs of strength in Bitcoin's price. So as you can see here, since that same exact time period, which is right here, look, May 31st, and we bring it back over here to the DXY, we see May 31st, right, around this time period. Same thing, Bitcoin's up, what, 39%? Maybe with today's drop, we're still up 34%. Now, it doesn't seem like a lot, but if you look at gold in the same period of time, which I don't have it right here, but if you look at gold in the same period of time, it dropped 7%. So basically the question that a lot of investors are having right now is with this inflation, with these uncertain times, with the Fed, getting a little scared with their printing and slowing it down, and the caution that we're seeing in the economy and the moves that are being made, where should I invest my money? Where am I going to put my money? Is it going to be gold? Is it going to be bonds? Right? Is it going to be the stock market where it's an all-time high? And no, it's going to be probably crypto. A lot of people are moving into crypto. And in the same period of time, you can see that Ethereum, which is the second strongest narrative, which is basically, you know, utility, is up 32% against BTC in the same period of time. So what we're looking at here is the ETH chart versus BTC. So when this goes up, that means Ethereum is doing better than Bitcoin. When this goes down, that means Bitcoin is doing better than Ethereum. And if you would have held the second narrative, which is the utility, the use case of a blockchain, right? If you would have held onto any of those coins, you would have been 32% better in Ethereum's sake. And then for the same period of time, for altcoins, you would have been just 5% better. So Ethereum's definitely leading the way. And I just wanted to point that out because I have these two really ugly arrows drawn out here. But basically, this is bullish, right? So this is kind of leaning towards another altcoin season, maybe potentially breaking out now. If we don't, we'll get that rejection and ultimately probably break out because ETH, as you can see here, is the leading indicator for the utility narrative. ETH says basically, hey guys, when people invest in Bitcoin, they're like investing in it for hedge against monetary inflation, and they look at it as like a superior form of money. But when people invest in Ethereum, the second narrative, they're investing in it because of the utility. So this makes room for every altcoin on the market, right? So I've always said, I think I said it multiple times in all my other videos, Bitcoin will never reach 50% dominance ever again. I've said that multiple times, and I think it's so true. And I think eventually, maybe not this cycle, but in the future, Ethereum will probably flip Bitcoin because every other market is bigger than just money, right? So if you look at the utility that's happening in the space, you can see the metaverse, you can see the NFTs, you see all this utility. All of that combined is bigger than just the world reserve currency, which we're trying to have Bitcoin be the world reserve currency. But right now it's the United States dollar, if that makes sense. So let me bring it home. Altcoin season is going to happen. All of that combined into altcoin season is going to probably happen. If we bring up the chart here one more time, let me show you. I called it right here. And I made ridiculous amounts of money, okay? And I'm calling it right here, okay? So it's happened. I'm literally saying it before it happens. So do me a favor, like the video. I'm saying it before it happens so you can make, you can do your research, have enough time to do your research. I'm not calling it when it's way over here, like a lot of people that like to call things after the hype. I'm saying that either we get a breakout now, it rejects, and then we get a breakout eventually, and I'm putting my reputation on the line, and I'm putting my portfolio on the line too. And just for some more data to back it up, look at Bitcoin dominance. Same thing, continuation pattern, okay? You see it right here, big dump, okay? We're probably gonna break down with Bitcoin's dominance, guys. Bitcoin's probably never gonna go back to 50% ever again. I called that over here when I was pumping. Everybody's like, oh, Bitcoin's gonna take over the world. It never got back to 50%. Look, 47 point whatever percent dumped down. The narrative of utility will beat this now and in the long run. I do think that. So yeah, just wanted to chime in. I think altcoin season is going to happen. And then just to briefly kind of show you what we're talking about in my video later on today, you can see that the metaverse index, the metaverse, has been outcompeting Ethereum, as you can see there. Ethereum has been great, right? We saw it over here. Ethereum was 32% better than Bitcoin. But look, metaverse index, the metaverse coin has been how much better than Ethereum? 261% better, and that's the index of coins. Imagine if you would have picked a specific coin that blew up in 50x, right? And that's what my videos are going to be about in the future, so pay attention to what's going on. And just to chime in on XLM, yeah, their energy was great at the hearing. Their energy was amazing, but if we look at XLM versus Ethereum, it's been getting destroyed. Why is XLM even in a topic of conversation, to be honest with you? XLM is not something I'm buying. I just wanted, they just had great energy at the hearing, and Armando will elaborate on that. But look at the price versus ETH. You don't want to buy that. You want to buy that. Okay. So we're going to be talking about a lot of that. And just to compare really quickly, look at Matic's price versus ETH. This is a layer 2, which is a confirmed trend that we've been talking about for months. I've been talking about layer 2s for like 8 months. I bought Matic and 100x my money. Okay. And it's still pumping. All right. So again, this is not like the money narrative is dying. Being a superior form of money was so 2017. A superior form of money, like I'm going to be Dash. I'm faster than Bitcoin. Like, I got the, you got the miners and the ASIC miners from Dash, right? I can run a node for 100K. Like these things, so 2017. Now it's basically what community can get captured, which is like the metaverse, which is like layer 2s. We're talking about retail now, right? Which makes sense because there's more retail now than there was last time, right? So, the last leg will most likely be a trend that retail can adopt. And what better than games? Okay. Simply put, if, the top usually happens with all of the dumb money coming in and smart money dumping. Dumb money like games. Okay, very simple, straightforward. I think that's my 2 cents. Let me answer some questions real quick, and then Armando's going to take over. Yeah, altcoin season is probably going to happen. It's definitely likely to happen. Do me a favor, like the video. We have 200 people in here and only 121 likes. Let's get this at least to like 200 likes. Like the video for me for a second. You move XLM back and forth from exchanges. Yeah, I mean, it's I guess you could send the money. I mean, that's basically what Bitcoin is. It's just more expensive. And there's stable coins now that stable coins don't need to be like, that doesn't need to increase in price. Like, the superior form of money is Bitcoin. That's like the store of wealth. And then you have like stable coins that solve that issue, right? That's my personal opinion. Someone said on one condition, you flex for the camera. Maybe next time. I don't know why there's only 5K. Yeah, I get it. I think we just got a SEO expert, Claire. She's like our marketing girl. And basically, she said that we might be getting shadow banned. So it is what it is. I mean, YouTube's always going to censor people. Yeah, I think we should have like way more viewers than this for sure. The type of content we're providing and the accurate calls speaks for itself. Go through the history. All right, Cool. I don't really have that many questions in there, it looks like. So thanks, guys. Peace out. Mondo, you want to take over? What's going on? What was happening, man?
Well, I watched that 5-hour video or that 5-hour stream yesterday so that you guys wouldn't have to pretty much grovel through all the information. So I've got some really good notes. But there was a lot of good stuff that happened in that Congress meeting yesterday, guys. If you haven't tuned into those meetings before, I don't blame you. They're extremely boring.
Yeah.
But for the first time yesterday, there was a lot of positive sentiment, a lot of positive news. It looks like these congressmen are kind of finally starting to do their own research and asking the right type of questions that we want to be asked, right? So I felt like it was very informative. I'm going to go over a lot of those details. Just really good news, right? Like you said, Stellar was honestly, they brought a lot of energy. They brought a lot of good information, which is what I thought it was a good idea to put them on the title. They, like you said, right, they're a way of transferring money. I'm going to go a little bit more in depth as to what she said. I'm going to go over all the different CEOs that were there. And if you want to switch over to my tablet, Eddie, we'll kind of kick right into it, right? So the crypto CEOs got a nice warm welcome at this meeting. We saw that with the tone of the people, that were the kind of questions that they were being asked. If you didn't know, there were 6 CEOs there. We had Brian Brooks. He's the CEO currently of Bitfury. He was the former CEO at Binance, and he was also the comptroller of the currency, which, if you didn't know, was a very important position here in the United States, which I'm going to break down in a little bit as well. We also had Sam Bankman-Fried. He is the CEO currently as FTX, and if you didn't know, he's also one of the youngest billionaires in the world, which is something that I'm striving for, right? And I hope you all are striving for something like that as well. We also had Alicia Haas. She's the CFO of Coinbase. Charles Carcella. He's the CEO of co-founder of Paxos, which is one of the stable coins that we use, USDP. Jeremy Allaire, he is the co-founder and chairman and CEO at Circle, which was nice because we actually got to see the Circle table. They had a presentation at the NFT Art Basel last week that we were at. So we actually got some nice inside information from that last week as to what they were going to be speaking about. And then finally, Danelle Dixon, as we mentioned, she is the Chief Executive Officer for Stellar Development Foundation, which is the foundation behind Stellar Lumens, right? Each of them had an opportunity to speak in regards to what was going on in front of Congress. They got asked some really important questions, and they all answered them in the way that we wanted to them, right? These are some of the best people in crypto space, right? These are some of the brightest minds, some of the most important people around the community. And we wanted to hear their thoughts, and especially we wanted to make sure that these different thoughts were being heard by the correct people, right? So yesterday we saw a variety of different questions being asked from Democrats and Republicans alike. And it goes really in depth, right? A lot of these questions expounded upon what we wanted in terms of regulation, right? So if we go back to these articles, Brian Brooks was probably one of my favorite speakers there. As the comptroller of the currency before, he had great insight into U.S. regulation. And one of the most important questions that they asked, right, is the United States currently behind in terms of cryptocurrency regulation and just crypto in general? And flat out, Brooks said, yeah, we are far behind. There is a lot we have to work on. One of the best points that he brought is one of the leading financial exchanges, right? And we brought this up last week when it happened with Fidelity. Fidelity is one of the biggest U.S. Investment companies in the United States. Why is it that they have to go across borders to Canada to get an ETF fund approved? And this is one of the points that they brought up here at Congress. And one of the points that I thought was great, that not just the CEOs were going against what the SEC, Gary Gensler, had to say about why it was rejected, but you had different other congressmen from both sides, the Democrat and Republicans, asking why the incompetence is happening at the SEC level, right? Why Gary Gensler continues to be this old thought or continue to try and regulate crypto in a way that it shouldn't be, right? We see all these forward progressive thinking countries around the world, Germany, Brazil, Singapore, I can name other few, that are adopting crypto regulation, right? I'm gonna go over a little bit later how Australia is announcing a new regulatory, a new reform bill, pretty much in terms of crypto, for what they plan to do in Australia. And it's amazing, right? They're trying to be a founder or a leader in the space as to what we need to do in terms of regulation. And all these different CEOs had their particular take, right? So Sam Bankman-Fried, as if you guys didn't know, he did go to MIT and he has a degree in physics. If If you didn't know, MIT is one of the best schools in the United States, and that comes with the honor with what it says. Sorry, but the honor goes with itself, right? He spent years doing quantitative computing as well, doing cryptocurrency, and that's when he then took his steps to founded FTX. FTX is one of the biggest exchanges in the United States, and they did great yesterday. He answered a lot of technical questions that they had. We had, if you didn't see the video, if you want to come back here to my screen, Eddie. We had really bad questions in terms of really good questions too, right? So if you didn't know, this senator, or I'm sorry, not senator, this Congressman Sherman, if you didn't hear what he had to say, he basically went on and asked questions like, why can cryptocurrency be trusted, right? The biggest opponent against crypto is crypto. Says that Bitcoin can be displaced by Ether, which should be displaced by Doge, which could then be displaced by Hamster Coin. And then there's Cobra Coin, and he stumbles and mumbles on his words continuously. And obviously you can tell that this man doesn't know a word about crypto or just took really bad notes, right? He then goes on to attack Coinbase and asked about their fees. And in regards to Coinbase fees, and then we all know that Coinbase doesn't charge a fee to do withdrawals or any sort of transactions. Those are usually limited to either Bitcoin fees, Ethereum gas fees, or any sort of fees that have to do with the blockchain itself, but not Coinbase. But people can't seem to understand that, right? And they ask questions that make it seem like Coinbase is charging a fee that they really aren't, right? It's the terms, the fee, or what's the term I'm looking for? The cost of doing service, right? So if you go on Fidelity or any other trading service across the world to do any sort of other trading, stocks, Forex, there was always going to be some sort of fee to play, right? You pay to play. So similar to what they were trying to explain yesterday, I felt that the CEO from Coinbase and the CEO of FTX were actually able to explain that in really well terms. And it just continues, right, guys? In other really big news that I also wanted to mention, because this is actually going on today, if you didn't get to see I'm going to go back to the Congress in a second, but I did want to mention this because this is actually breaking news that I just found out about. But Polygon just spent $400 million to buy this protocol Mir, another ZK zero knowledge proofs protocol. They're using this to expand deeper into what they already own. There was a nice bubble on Twitter pretty much going over all the different companies that Polygon has gotten into and the different ecosystems that they're trying to develop, right? So we know zero knowledge is something that everyone's continuously looking to add. It's the next trend, I believe, and obviously Alex did a really deep dive into it with IMX, Starknet, and these different coins that are adding zero knowledge proofs. So as you can see, Polygon's also putting their money where their mouth is and kind of continuing this trend as to what they believe is the next step or the next evolution in this DeFi space, right? If you didn't know what the zero knowledge proofs are, in the video that we did about Mina, I kind of did a nice little breakdown. If you want to go and watch that to get a little bit more details. Now, continuing on with a little bit more other news that I wanted to bring up, guys. So if you haven't heard, Colombia's largest bank, Bancolombia, they're going to be offering now additions for you to be, the ability for you guys to trade Bitcoin, Ethereum, and a bunch of other coins. It's the biggest bank in Colombia. If you guys didn't know, my family is from Colombia, so this is pretty big news. Colombians starting December 14th are going to be able to buy different cryptocurrencies for a 1-year pilot. They're going to be able to buy Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and Bitcoin Cash. They'll probably expand this once they see how well this does, especially in developing countries like Colombia. I feel like this is something that's going to be great for them. I've been there recently, and I feel like cryptocurrency is something that can definitely help the people acquire some sort of freedom, financial freedom, right? Oh, look, my favorite man is here. What do you got for us today, Marty?
I just came in. I just got off a call. We got people over here taking leaps of faith, all right, getting into the Fundamental Secrets group. Guys, if you have not yet submitted an application, and if you're not excited right now when things are down 10, 15, 20%, then I don't know what to tell you guys. I mean, why do you guys get excited when Bitcoin's hitting all-time highs but not when it's down 20, 30%? Right, this is the time, like I said, to be excited. So
I always talk about that, right? The psychology behind that. It's very interesting.
Very interesting, especially what happened in Congress yesterday. I'm sure you talked about it.
I was just about to go head back into that, but yeah, I was waiting for you to get here so we can go a little bit more in depth.
It was pretty good because it wasn't as bearish as it typically
Correct.
is, right? Like they're usually like, oh, we're going to do this and that, we're going to regulate, we can't do this, but they're actually really interested in it. Like they were asking like, well, how would this work and what are you guys looking to do? So overall, it was really good. It looks like that the Republicans were a lot more interested in it versus the Democrats. The Democrats were very kind of hesitant about it, but yeah, it was actually a very good Congress committee meeting there, and I think that we're actually
They got
moving
a lot
in the
of
right
good points in there, guys. Honestly, if you've never watched the previous meetings before, they're usually very negative in terms of the questions that they ask. They usually don't ask very good questions, or if they do ask questions, they're usually asking in the wrong tone, a tone of defense. You know, I thought one of the best explained things yesterday, I forgot which representative was the one that asked the question, but asked about the U.S. dollar obviously being the world reserve currency and how stable coins make that more of a real idea, right? So as you guys know, a lot of these stable coins are all pegged to the dollar. And I thought that one of the best points that was brought up yesterday by one of the representatives was the fact that these stable coins are pegged to the U.S. dollar kind of gives more of a reason as to why the U.S. dollar is the world reserve currency, right?
Exactly.
Everyone's choosing to peg their stable coins to the U.S. dollar for that fact, right? One of the best things that he said was that the stable coins give access to the U.S. dollar to people around the world that normally wouldn't have access to physical U.S. dollars, right? If anywhere around the world, even in developing countries, Argentina, Colombia, anywhere you go,
bust out that
best
dollar
asset
bill
that you can have is dollars, right? And so I thought it was really smart that these representatives brought up that idea that yes, you know, these stable coins give access to millions of more people to the U.S. dollar.
instead of just fiat. Yep, exactly. And also having the ability to, you know, make purchases with it right away without having to worry all these transaction conversion fees and all that. It's boom.
Exactly.
They could buy whatever they want in their country with USDC or Tether, whatever it may be.
Which is something that I kind of also wanted to bring up, right? So this is why I kind of wanted to talk about XLM in terms of what they had to offer yesterday, right?
Got
so
a bag of XLM.
I do believe in the project long term, guys, and it is an interesting buy, even though it is doing bad against Ethereum. They have a great project, right? What they're trying to do in terms of the utility they provide is great, and their CEO, Danelle Dixon, did a great job of explaining that to their people in Congress yesterday, right? So what she was able to attach it to or describe it to was, think about all the fees that these banks pay to do any sort of service, or I'm sorry, not the banks, that these Fortune 500 companies sometimes have to do business with the banks to send money across, you know, international through wire transfers, ACH transfers, or whatever you want to call it. The amount of fees they pay are ridiculous. And then you think about personal transfers, right? I'm sure a lot of you or have either sent money to family across international waters, and you can see how expensive it is, right? So I know I've sent money to Colombia before to help out family, and you know the fees are ridiculous, right? Sometimes it's 8% of the entirety of what you're selling, and that's crazy. And if you go to my screen here, Eddie, I just want to show some statistics that I got from Statistica. This is the average cost of sending remittances from selected G20 countries as of the fourth quarter of 2020 to other countries around the world, right? So if you're sending money to South Africa, it's going to cost 14.41% of your entirety of what you're sending.
Jeez.
So if you're sending $100, it's going to cost you $14 just to send it. And you know, these numbers, this is just a basic number, but obviously you're going to be sending a lot more. So these fees just add up, right? And this is where XLM comes into play, right? And they give a nice little rundown here as to all the $500 fees that are charged in fees through remittances across the world. And basically, their phrase, or I guess what they're trying to solve is that issue, right? They're basically trying to make it so that you can transfer money across the world in seconds and for the fraction of the cost. And so one of the funniest things that Danelle Dixon did yesterday was when they asked him, oh yeah, how much does it cost to send money using XLM? And she was like, oh, it was like 0.00001% of a penny or something like that. And it was just crazy, right? So numbers like that are outstanding, and this is the kind of utility that you can just find in different altcoins like this. And this is why I think cryptocurrency needs to be massively adopted, right? Think about all the money that could be saved.
Yeah, and the other, gosh, we got to remember all these names, but the gentleman from Pueblo, Colorado, works for Bitfury.
Oh yes, that was Brian Brooks.
Yeah, Brian Brooks. He was making a point how far behind the U.S. is compared to other G20 countries where they are accepting crypto, they're adopting it, they're encouraging people from overseas and companies to move here to have their base because they're regulating derivatives and all this, and he's like, the U.S. is unquestionably behind the curve.
Unquestionably.
And we're the leaders, right, in most things. So if the U.S. and Congress were to make this massive leap and take the step where they're, adopting crypto, promoting it, not regulating it super heavy, then they're probably going to open up even more doors to crypto than what any other country could have possibly done.
And this is where I think that a lot of these other congressmen started to see the light in terms of cryptocurrency, right? I don't think they believe in the technology yet, but what they do see is the innovation behind the technology. And they want America, the United States, to be the front runners, the forerunners of this innovation, right? We've had innovation in the United States for how many years now, right? We are usually the front runners of electricity, of car making, all these different other things that you could say we're the front runners for. We want to be the front runners for cryptocurrency, right? We don't want to push that sort of innovation so that other countries can get it.
Exactly.
We want to keep it here in the United States. And I feel like that's what all these congressmen are finally starting to put together, that if they regulate it to hell, it's only going to push it outside the United States, which only means less money for us in the end.
And if we're being really honest, obviously all of them are threatened by crypto, but if some of these, maybe CEOs or some high, important figures in crypto sat down at a fireside chat behind closed doors and talked about, hey, this is how you can move your funds around, right? Unlike the traditional stock market or finance, and pay basically no fees and can't really track it that much. I'm sure that they would be very, very open at that point. So maybe we just have to get them behind closed doors, off the script, and then you guys would see a lot more excitement from these geezers at the Congress.
The problem with all these congressmen, right, is just like the congressman that I mentioned who made the comments about mongooses and Cobra Coin, who really did, you saw the video yesterday. Yeah. The problem with congressmen like that is that they have lobbyists, and I actually did some research on Sherman. He's actually backed by by community banks, credit unions, smaller banks like that. So that's the reason that he doesn't want cryptocurrency to be in his space. It would eat into his paycheck. So just some research that I want you guys to do, some research I did because I want to know who the hell that guy was and why he made these comments. But always look into the bigger picture, right? I thought that was interesting when I found that out, that he had such large lobbyists in his pockets from those different institutions.
What's the deal with Matic today? Is that meeting's still live with Vitalik, right?
I think the meeting's probably over. I'm not sure. But like I mentioned it already that they did that purchase of Mir Protocol.
Yeah, they did.
So that was a pretty big thing. If you guys didn't know, they have a giant war chest of Matic tokens that it's like I think a $1 billion fund. They recently spent $250 million to acquire another another protocol that also did zero knowledge proofs. And they spent another $400 million today with the announcement of buying Mir Protocol. So they're going all in on this kind of thing, right? So it's kind of shows what I think the next trend is going to be. Look into it, guys. If you haven't seen the IMX video that kind of explains what zero knowledge proofs are, look into that. Pretty interesting stuff.
Yeah, and then Eddie, if you just want to tap in here in mine, I'm sure as you guys already all see, we are having a little bit more downside, right, in the market.
I think you're plugged in there, Marty.
Oh, am I not plugged in all the way? There you go. Should be good now. But we are having a little bit more downside in the market. One of our coaches, Will, actually gave us that update earlier today, basically saying that we did break the trend that we were experiencing right here. And then, we are going to be potentially seeing some downside to the 47K, which we're at right now. And we've also been finding that that's the institutional discount range, right? That's where you're, look at MicroStrategy today.
Maybe buying
the dip, maybe a little early, whatever it may be. But like I said, we're basically expecting this. And then you and I were also talking about it today with basically the KuCoin, right? Where they had to fill in the candle for that potential 43K.
This isn't something that's obviously confirmed, guys, but we'll probably put it back on the screen in a second. But if you just go back to the screen really quick, just so we'll show you really quick, right? You'll see this massive wick down, right? So normally if you just look at the history for Bitcoin, right? When you see these giant wicks, they usually come back and they fill these wicks. Right, so if you can go back probably to September, you'll see another wick like this, and you'll see them come back to fill that wick.
Let's go back to September.
But these are just price imbalances in the chart. We're not trying to scare you guys. We just want you guys to be aware of all the possibilities. Yeah, it doesn't necessarily have to come back to fill it all the time, but most of the time, you've seen these wicks getting filled. Obviously, right here.
That's just September.
It's September. It's probably a bigger wick. It's probably a bigger wick further back, but if you just constantly look back, guys, these wicks are constantly being filled. just something I want to put your eyes onto, right, guys? This is something that is going to happen, but just a possibility, right? And you guys should know about everything. We don't want always to just be bullish, bullish, bullish. You guys have to know about everything that could be happening so you can be prepared to buy the dip if it does come that down.
Yeah, so I mean, I did do a little bit of purchasing today as well, and I didn't make the mistake like I did at the beginning of the month of November, where I just did a lot of purchasing right away. So I do still have reserve capital left over to when we do fill in that wick, right? Whether it's going to be potentially now or in a week or so, that'll be another great discount range to get into. I mean, that wick got as low as 42K.
Yep.
Right. So again, guys, it's not that we're being bearish or anything, but it's like Armando said, the reality of it is we do have to fill that wick eventually, right? Whether it's now or whether it's later down the road. Preferably, I'd rather have it done now, right? So that then it can just get bought up pretty much instantaneously, and then we see that V correction and start going off to the upside. But that's out of our control, unfortunately, right? We're not the market makers, right? We don't have the big bags like the whales, and also we can't predict what's going to happen in the world tomorrow. So I'm sure there will be some sort of catalyst coming out, whether it's here within the States or overseas in Europe or Asia or something that will cause the crypto market to see a little bit more downside, even more, or again, and then that wick will get filled in.
Yeah, guys. I kind of mentioned this. I feel like I mention this all the time, right? We might see short to midterm bearish action, but you have to believe in this in the long term, which I feel like a lot of us in the crypto space believe in this for the long term, right? So we're not looking at this in terms of months, weeks, days. We're looking at this in terms of years in the future. So yes, whatever, we may have bearish price action for the next couple of days, even weeks, whatever it may be. But you have to see, I feel like one of the best pictures, I see it on Twitter all the time, right? It's like that picture that shows like the trends of days, weeks, months, and years, and how the line in years is just continuously like in a straight line. Mm-hmm. But obviously once you break it down into like smaller time patterns, there's a lot more volatile. So that's the way you guys have to think of this, I feel like.
Yeah, and again, I'm sure a lot of you guys here follow Ben Cohen as well, right? Always talks about the log regression chart, and people made the comparisons where even this correction that we're having now is like literally a little pixel there. So literally, the trend of crypto is still overall up, right? Bitcoin is probably won't be hitting that 100K like we all wished for this year, right? Who knows? Maybe if ETF gets approved overnight while we're sleeping on Christmas Day or something, and then a bunch of whales start buying in retail, then that could. But we still believe we will see 100K Bitcoin, right? Whether it's come the new year or sometime in spring, and then it's starting to just play into that lengthening cycle theory, which again, even Ben Cohen and Tech Dev, who he had on his video, was saying it's never about timing the market, it's about time in the market. And you guys have heard me say it's more about time in the market, right? The more time you spend in this market, the more you understand the overall ecosystem and environment of crypto, and then you start to understand how to find these next gems and opportunities for yourself. It's about time in the market. That's what will help you prevail and make the biggest gains year over year, month over month, day over day, week over week.
I completely agree. In other news, guys, I just have a little bit other pieces of news that I just wanted to bring up to you guys. So if you see here, one of the biggest companies in the world in terms of payment services, Visa, they launched a crypto consultation services amidst a survey that they just recently sent out to a bunch of their clients. And in that survey, they pretty much had an overwhelming response of people who already either own crypto or have intentions of buying crypto, right? So this is just one of the surveys. They had more than 1/3 of the 6,000 respondents that, like I mentioned, already own or use crypto. And globally, about 40% of crypto's owners said that they would be eager to switch from their current bank to one that offers crypto-related products in the next 12 months, right? So this is something very similar to what Coinbase did with adding rewards to their debit card, what Crypto.com is similarly doing with rewards with their credit card, which they partnered with Visa. So this is just another step in that right direction. You're going to start seeing more of these companies starting to offer crypto-related services, whether that be cash back, a percentage of it back in Bitcoin. You're going to start seeing a lot of these different things, I feel like, which leads to more mass adoption.
Exactly. Christina, I saw that in the chat there. Was it Christina? Yeah, Christina. In the chat there, you're asking about Elrond, and Eddie actually have it pulled up here. Ooh. So Elrond just basically adjusted their rewards and within their farms, right? So the Meyer Dex launched the week before Thanksgiving. So, you know, the APYs were crazy high if you were providing equal parts liquidity to Elrond and MEX. So as you can see right here, now what we have are like, you know, the gold locks, right? So in the Elrond MEX pool, the APY was actually as high as like 10,000%, right? And when Johnny and I know some of the other consultants here were doing it, we were farming it, basically taking advantage of the unlocked and locked rewards that you would get. But now within the last week, they basically they had a massive update. They launched another token, I believe. I'll have Eddie drop it in the chat later. But now basically the rates have been, they've settled, right? So these would be the rates going forward. So what our strategy was to farm the rewards from this farm to increase our LP tokens, so that then when these rates finally settled and, you know, found their base, now we can like take advantage of what we have. So right now, if you're just staking, you know, MEX here, you're going to be in the unlocked version. You'll get 73% APR, which is still relatively nice. I mean, more than like any other. It's actually up there with PancakeSwap. But if you lock it up, as you see, so you actually have to lock up your MEX for a whole entire year. But if you lock it up, you can get as high as 1,000, basically 1,100% APR, which is insane.
That's
so if you're going to be partaking in that, just remember that you are going to have to lock it up for a whole year, right? So whether you're, you know, doing MEX, or even if you're just doing Elrond, you can stake Elrond on the MyerDex phone app, on their wallet app, which I think you get like 14%, I want to say, is one of the pools that I'm in. But I definitely do have about half of my Elrond that I converted into MEX, and I, you know, locked it up for a whole year. I bought Elrond super early at like 50 or 60 bucks. One of our consultants one of our researchers is basically predicting that, you know, it could be well over $1,000, you know, with Bitcoin hitting that, you know, 100K mark. So this will be towards the very end of the bull run. But I'll be cashing out half of my Elrond come the end of the bull run, and then the other half, you know, whenever I can get out of that farm, which would be from a year from now. But, you know, I'm getting basically 1,100% APR. So
nice. I actually started DCing into Elrond recently when the price dipped below, like, I think like 2.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great buy right now. I think
all-time highs. It was, you know, like 569 or something like that. So
yeah, Elrond has been a very big performer for me, and then some of the other you know, people within our workplace here. And if I have it up here, so Elrond right now is at 279. Honestly, a great place to DCA into, because like I said, you know, our research is expecting it or predicting it to be well over $1,000 come the end of the bull run.
You know what? Do me a favor. Look up BNB, because you know, I found some interesting things about BNB in terms of how stable it's been in this dip. I feel like it's just been playing around in like a $30-$40 range.
1 second. Actually, I have it up here. BNB. There it is.
That one's been sticking in this nice little range.
Yeah, it broke out of a channel here that
Go to your screen, Marty.
Yep.
Yeah. Binance Coin. So I guess it did break out of this kind of wedge pattern, right? And what was all-time highs? It was almost 700, I believe, right?
Yeah, I think that coin can definitely get up to 1,000,
yes.
hopefully. But it's for some reason it's been one of like it's very similar to, like, it's been very stable. I just realized that in my portfolio, I was just looking at it the other day, and I was just like, wow, this has been a very stable coin in there. Even though during this massive dip, it's held itself pretty nicely. I just wanted to bring that up. And last, in terms of really interesting news, I brought it up earlier. I mentioned how Australia just recently put in this new reform bill that they're announcing. I just want to go in depth with it a little with you guys, just so you can see what I mean, right? So this is what they're calling their biggest payment reform in 25 years. Their treasurer said in an interview, if you want to read here, pretty much breaks it down on what's going on. They're attempting to bring their payment systems up to date and broadening the definition of services and products that can be regulated. And they're taking cryptocurrencies and digital assets out of the shadows. This is awesome, in my opinion, guys. They're trying to be like leaders in the space. A lot of these bigger countries around the world, like we mentioned, don't have any sort of regulation about any digital assets at all. And you're seeing other developed countries, you know, not developing, but developed countries, Australia, Germany, Brazil, Singapore, all these other countries that are taking measures and different sort of regulations, contrary to the United States, right?
Yep.
As you can see, they see the vision of the future. They see where things are going. And like we always said, for some reason, the U.S. governments always seem to lag behind in regulation, and you see these big businesses innovating and being ahead of the space. And I feel like that's been the case for I don't know how many years, right?
Yeah, well, we just have to, again, realize that there's so many just rules and regulations within the traditional finance world, right? And the U.S., economy is so large to that then implement, a new investment vehicle that doesn't have any rules or regulations and basically is the wild west. Like, that's why they are so cautious, right? Because they're so used to having all these rules and things that have to be followed and all these certifications that now they're having an emerging market that is, 2xing basically on a yearly basis, right? And for them to try to regulate a technology that half of them don't even know how to use Zoom correctly, like we have to be a little bit patient here, right? Or we just have to start voting in much younger people so that then they understand what's happening and they can basically adapt right, on the dime like a lot of us can.
What else, Marty?
I'm just saying, like, it's
What
time,
else,
guys.
Marty?
It's time. Like, there needs to be a cap on these guys. Like, once you're past 60, like, that's it. You're out. Like, you cannot be in that office.
Did you see that guy yesterday who was after the meeting, after they finished speaking to him, how he was still he didn't mute himself, so then he continued to speak. That was probably one of the funny moments.
What was it? He's one of the chair members. When they were interviewing, it was way back. The whole Facebook scandal. They were interviewing one of the
Finsta thing.
Yeah, he's like, how come you guys can't track a Finsta? And she's like, well, it's a fake Instagram account. Like we don't have access to that. He's like, okay. Like he didn't understand what a fake account is, right?
What else, Marty?
Just saying. They can't see me in FIFA though. I'll tell you that one.
Lastly, I wanted to mention to you guys, I brought it up last week or on Monday about SushiSwap and their CTO threatening to resign. Well, it's finally come to fruition.
Oh, man.
He has officially resigned. He posted today on Twitter with this really funny meme, basically stating that he will be leaving SushiSwap. This is pretty big news. I mean, he talks about the infighting amongst the company, among the different departments. It doesn't seem like they know what's going to be the future of it. It's just infighting everywhere. You can see that, OX Maki, who was one of the co-founders, he voluntarily resigned back in September. And there's just continuous, I don't know, I guess you want to call it like continuous bad things coming from SushiSwap. And this is one of the third biggest dexes, behind Uniswap on the Ethereum chain. So it's definitely something to keep your eyes on. You definitely want to see who's going to replace this guy as a CTO. That's a pretty big position in the company. So I don't know how I'm feeling about that, but yeah. Anything else you got?
Well, I haven't used SushiSwap in a while. Like I said, I've been sticking to mainly Binance Smart Chain. That's what I've been doing mainly, and some on the Phantom network as well, because Ethereum is just being annoying, right? But I did sell my BTC for ETH, so kind of a double standard there, right? I mean, that's all that I got on news so far. I mean,
Yeah.
I know that Evergrande did default again, I believe, on one of their payments. What was it, on the whole loan? Which one
I
was it?
believe, yes, they defaulted.
So,
Or
not good news overseas, obviously.
Probably what you can attribute to this dump that's happening today too, but I feel like this is news that we've already known.
Yeah.
And hasn't the CPP come out and already said that they're going to be bailing them out anyways?
I haven't been keeping
So,
I haven't
I don't
been
know.
keeping up with it. I know Johnny, he's your guys' macro guy, right? But so the CPI report, the last one for the year, comes out tomorrow, right? It is already looking like the number of jobs claims will be lower, basically signifying that more jobs have been available to people, which is also kind of showing that we might be going slightly deflationary, which isn't obviously good for crypto, right? So that could be already the market pricing it in right now before it's coming out. So we'll just have to kind of wait and see, but you're starting to see a lot more people also talk about that we are on the cusp of a pretty major correction here in the traditional finance
markets.
world. Yeah, so we'll see what happens the new year. I think we'll probably still hold up pretty well here going into the holidays, right? Everybody wants Santa to deliver the presents. I saw a commercial for these like news channels basically having their parents explain to their kids, oh, hey, like tell your kids there's a supply chain issue, so they might not get presents. Like, how are you going to tell a 5-year-old that?
I don't know.
Like, by the way, I can't get you your PS5 this year.
I don't know about that. I already have mine.
No, you already got yours? Jeez.
All right, guys. What we doing?
This guy, man, look at him.
All right, guys. That's all we got for you guys today. I really appreciate you guys joining us with today. We'll be back tomorrow for another live stream at 1 p.m. So
Funky
please come
Friday.
and join us. It's going to be
Make sure to like and subscribe.
Funky Friday.
Please like and subscribe to
Be
the
here.
video. Share it with your friends, your mom, your aunt, your granddad.
Your dog, everybody. Share
Everyone.
with everybody.
Thanks for coming again today, guys. And like we always say, if you don't get with it, you will get left behind. And we'll see y'all next time.
Thanks, guys.